Roll 'em.
Mrs. Robinson, you didn't expect...
What?
You didn't really think I'd do something like that.
Like what?
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
For God's sake, Mrs. Robinson. Here we are, you got me into your house, you give me a drink, you put on music, now you start opening up your personal life to me and tell me your husband won't be home for hours.
So?
Mrs. Robinson, you're trying to seduce me. Aren't you?
What movie are you living in now, Catherine? I didn't pursue Jocelyn. I don't recall inviting her to Cabo, and I didn't pursue your granddaughter. I think she managed to come 500 miles up to San Francisco on her own, looking for me, and we both know that I sure as hell did not pursue you.
Hey. Booyah! Welcome to another episode of BW Flix, the Average Movie Critics. I am James Martin, and this is my co-host, Brian Arndt. And welcome back. And we thank you for showing up. And Brian, I'm doing well. How about you, brother?
I'm doing awesome. A little tired,
Excellent.
but I'm doing awesome.
Excellent, man. You always appreciate it, brother. And we are 7 episodes in, man. Today we are going to be, last week we talked about, let's see, what's on the menu? Yes, I'm about to give it to you right now, my man. We are doing rom-coms, Yinzer. They are two very, very distinctly different movies, but have some relation to them. One is the 1967 classic, The Graduate, with Dustin Hoffman and Anne Bancroft. And the other is the one that's slightly based off of the movie, where it's like rumored to be based off of the movie, pun intended. Rumor has it 2005 with Jennifer Aniston and Kevin Costner and Shirley MacLaine. So these are two movies. We are going to get right into it. We're going to start off with The Graduate first. And I'm going to let B give us some superlatives about that movie before I get into the synopsis of it.
All right. So The Graduate, it was directed by Mike Nichols. It's starring Dustin Hoffman as Benjamin Braddock, Anne Bancroft as Mrs. Robinson, Catherine Ross as Elaine Robinson, which is the daughter, William Daniels as Mr. Braddock. You'll know William Daniels as the voice of Kit, and Murray Hamilton as Mr. Robinson, and you will know him as the mayor in Jaws, the original. Unaccredited actors in the film was Richard Dreyfuss as the guy that says, "Hey, you want me to call the cops?" And then Mike Farrell has a little is a hotel bellhop in it. You know Mike Farrell from MASH fame. Music was by Paul Simon, and the score was done by David Grusin. Production company was Lawrence Terman Productions and distributed by Embassy Pictures and United Artists. Released on December 21st, 1967. Running time is 106 minutes. The budget was $3 million. But check out the box office. $104.9 million. So sex sells. I'm just saying.
It does, even when you try to hide it. Oh, man. Dude. Yeah, both our parents are around that same age. I think, actually, my parents are a little bit younger than yours, man. They were young, and having fun in the sun when I was born, sir. Let's see. But yeah, starting off, man, The Graduate. We're talking about fun in the sun. We're talking about a 20-year-old guy who just, young man, he graduates from college, goes home to spend time with his parents, and he's hanging in the pool. He doesn't know what to do with his life. He's a little anxious about it. As a matter of fact, we're starting off at a party. His parents, they're well-to-do. His father is a lawyer, his mom's a homemaker, and they're partnered with the Robinsons. The Robinsons, obviously, you heard the song before, Mrs. Robinson. That's the people we're talking about here. They're Mr. Robinson is the partner to Ben Braddock's father, Mr. Braddock, and they're both lawyers. Like I said, they're partners, and they're all at a party right now. They're hosting a party. Like I said, they're well-to-do, wealthy, or maybe upper middle class. Upper middle class is probably what you would consider them, where they can probably likely these are people that can afford to pay for the college tuition, send their kid to school, and buy them a nice red convertible car. You know, because as the father said, it's paid for. You know, he let him know that it was a graduation gift, and he got him a nice car. But that being said, he's at the party, and he's kind of walking around, and he's the youngest person there. He's the youngest person there. There are no 20-year-olds in there. They're all people that are his parents' age, people that have known him most of his life. They're trying to let him know what he should be doing for his life. Like one guy exclaims that, I got one word for you: plastics.
Yeah.
Just think about it. Plastics. He wants him to get into plastics, and he's kind of confused. His head's spinning. Like everybody's rubbing his head like he's 6 years old still, you know, and they're talking to him. They're saying all kind of stuff. He's going back and forth in the kitchen. He finally, and as he walks by, you can see Miss Robinson giving him a glance. She's looking at him. He's young. He's daring. He's handsome. He's not that same little child that she knew years ago. You know, she's attracted to him. And so he goes up to his bedroom, and he's looking and trying to figure out what to do. And the next thing you know, Miss Robinson comes up, and he's wondering, he's kind of befuddled, wondering why she's up there. She's talking to him, and she needs a ride home. He's like, well, hey, you take my car. You can take it home. He doesn't want to take her home, but no, she wants him to go home, take her home. She's had too much to drink. She's scared to get into her house. So he brings her home. He's saying goodbye. No, she don't want to walk in a dark house because they have a big, huge mansion, as if you've seen the movie. And again, let me give another disclaimer here. I'm giving spoilers for anybody who has not seen the movie. We always try to get you to watch the movie ahead of time so that you know, if you do not like spoilers, watch the movie first, and so we can discuss the movie and you can see what's going on. If you're not happy about spoilers, don't watch the show, because there's always going to be spoilers. Brian and I will always talk about any and everything about the movie, and we're going to give details about the movie. So back to the movie. Again, he brings her home, and she begins to try to seduce him. She tries to seduce him. And he's naive. At first, he's picking up signals, but he's not picking up signals. She offers him a drink. She goes, sits down with her legs up, talking to him, and the cinematography is just great. It's excellent. You see her leg up, and you see him explaining that she's trying to seduce him underneath her leg from a distance. Mm-hmm. And so it's just great cinematography. It's capturing the essence of what she's trying to do to him, and he resists her charm and her seductress. I don't know if that's a word. Her temptress charm and her seducery. And the father shows up. Her husband shows up in time, and he's downstairs.
You don't need a black and white to watch the movie. Just go on Tubi. Tubi's got it.
And it's in Technicolor, sir. It's in Technicolor, so it's not in black and white. So it's a great movie. Again, Yenzer, the movie was budgeted for $3 million, and it made $104 million, sir. So that tells you that. And I'm going to tell you, it still holds up if you watch the movie. Mm-hmm. Stop looking at old things. If you don't know your history, Yenzer, you're doomed to repeat it. Those are things that we should always do, is appreciate art and everything else that came before us, so we can learn from those things from the past. There's a reason why a rumor has it came out, because how great this movie was. So back on to the movie. Yes, sir. Please check it out. Again, he decides he goes home. Well, first he has a conversation with Mr. Robinson. Mr. Robinson coincidentally tells him that as a young man, what he should be doing is sowing his oats. I keep wanting to say sow his royal oats like in Coming to America, but it's to sow his oats. Yes, but in essence, same thing, just one on a higher scale.
Yeah.
All right. That being said, uh, the party's over again. He goes to the house. He goes home. He's in the pool. His parents got him uh, in this outfit. Maybe I'm too soon on this part, but he's in a scuba diving outfit, and they're trying to get him to test the outfit out, the scuba diving gear in their pool. Again, this is not the situation where you're looking at. I don't think anybody understands except Miss Robinson that Ben is 20 years old. He's trying to figure things out. He doesn't want to just do the little things that you used to make him do as a kid. They still sort of treat him like he's a kid. And so you kind of see the naivete behavior of Ben as well, because he's sort of treated like a child. And he's spoiled in essence. He's very spoiled. He's rich, but he's still kind of mature at the same time. It's like a mix of both. But he gets bored, and so he actually does call Miss Robinson, and he wants to go out. He wants to take her up on an offer, and he does, but he wants to do it at what's called a Taft hotel. He's nervous about it. He doesn't know what to do. He don't know who should pay and all this other kind of stuff because he had never done anything like this before. So they end up going for drinks. He talks to her. She's in the restaurant. He's on the payphone. He calls her. Miss Robinson has a phone call at a restaurant in the hotel or at the bar, and he's nervous as can be. He doesn't know what to do. Who should pay for the room? He said, well, maybe I should do it. I'll do it under, and go get the room. I'll go first. You don't have to come first, that kind of thing. So they do that, and they go up to the room. Obviously, he has second thoughts after they're trying to get undressed and do things, and he's wanting to talk about different things, and he's nervous as can be. So he's almost backing out. And let me tell you about Miss Robinson. This is she's been around the block. It may not have been with any other guy, but it's letting you know that she's wise and smart beyond her years. She is manipulative. She twists, she does a 180 on him. He's getting ready to leave. She's telling him like, oh, just, you go ahead. Obviously you're not man enough for the situation. You're inadequate. And she says the word inadequate. And inadequate to us means you're either this or you're this. Mm-hmm. And he didn't want, as a 20-year-old athlete, he played sports in college. He didn't want to hear that. And next thing you know, lights go out, and this becomes a whole summer event.
He says, I'll show you inadequate. That's what he said.
I'll show you. Yes, I'll show you inadequate. Yes. And clearly it's not a bad thing for her because she gets what she wants out of the deal, and he's getting what he's passing time because it's not really what he wants. But time does pass, and his parents become alarmed and nervous about the situation because he spends most of his days in the pool, and nights his mother approaches him and wonder what are you doing with your nights and not coming home till 12 in noonday, and he doesn't tell her, and she doesn't pry. The father kind of does the same thing, but the father on the other hand wants him to ask their partner's daughter out on a date, and he's reluctant. But the father's a lawyer, so he finds another tactic. He said, okay, if you don't do this, what we're going to do is, and maybe I'm wrong. It was the mother. I think the mother may have said that. Was it the mother?
No, I think the mother. No, it was the dad.
It was the father. It was the father. Yes. It was exactly. It was a lawyer tactic that he used to say, okay, if you don't ask her out, what we'll do is we'll invite the Robinsons over with Elaine over, and we can do it then. And so, of course, he gets puts in a corner. He does take her out. He goes over to Robinson's house, and who's fuming, sitting down, hot, but doesn't say anything until the father walks out of the room. It's Miss Robinson. She is livid, and she even says, "I'm very angry." And he said, "Look, I got put into a corner. So I have to take her out. I'm just going to take her out. We're going to go out to eat, and we're not going to do anything, and that's it. And so she's still hot about the situation. He does take her out. He's driving fast. He's driving. He's very cold to her, and you see her. She's a pretty young lady. I think she's home from University of California, Berkeley, and again, I guess you can see that she actually likes him. She likes him, and they go out, and he's again cold to her, and finally he takes her to a strip club, a place you do not take a first date out on. And the lady is standing over her. Her back is turned towards the lady. He said, "Come on, you need to turn around and enjoy the show." Of course, the lady comes out and gets her tassels and turns them, spins them in many different over her head.
A lady with only tassels on. Let's get that straight.
Yes,
too. Yeah.
yes,
Trying to
it's
hit
only
her in the head with
tassels.
the tassels.
Yes, and everybody's hooping and hollering, and Elaine's embarrassed. She runs off. He runs off behind her. She's crying. He's apologizing, and she doesn't want to hear it. And then finally, he kisses her. And there's a spark that happens right here where they kiss, and he takes her. He's bringing her home, and he said, "You know what? Before you go any further, because turns out they have some things in common. They go out to go get something to eat. You want to go get something to eat? Fine, we go get something to eat. They go to a fast food joint. They get burgers. They have a lot of things in common. They're talking about their anxiety, about school, life, and different things like that. And this is where chemistry hits. And lo and behold, they like each other. And so he brings her home. They decide to go out on another date. And the next day, he comes to get her for another date, and it's raining. So he can't really see. It's murky outside. He pulls up in front of the house, and somebody runs up to the car. It's not Elaine Robinson, it's Mrs. Robinson. And Mrs. Robinson, he says, drive off, and they drive off. She says, you have to cancel this. If you cancel this or else, she threatens him to tell everything to Elaine of what's going on. And I'm going a little bit too far. They spent a lot of time with each other. He did tell her that he slept with a woman. He slept with a married woman. He just didn't say the name. He didn't say who it was. But she said, "Is it over?" He said, "Yes, it's over." And so you can tell they really, and she like, "Okay, fine. It's just us going forward." But Mrs. Robinson wasn't having it. And so what Mrs. Robinson didn't count on, I guess it sounded like it was a threat. It was just a threat, but it might have been a little idle threat, because she figured he would just go ahead and stop it, and they can go on with their trice. Because also Miss Robinson admitted that she was an alcoholic, and that she got married. She got married just because she was pregnant. So, and she was an art major also. So she's not happy about her life. They're sleeping in separate beds. Just to give you all guys a little bit more background on Miss Robinson. So there's a great these characters. One's an antagonist, one's a protagonist. But that being said, he runs out of the car and runs into the house, finds Elaine, and admits to her who the married woman was. Elaine's pissed. She's really pissed about the situation. She don't want to see him again. She kicks him out, and she goes back to college. He follows her there, and he rents an apartment there. The guy that plays the landlord just to give you all the premise. Yeah. The guy that plays the landlord, he's the guy that's the landlord on Three's Company, and so he has the same type of attitude that he had on Three's Company. He's a jerk. He's a big time jerk. He don't want any type of riffraff in his apartments. Yep. And so it's the same premise in this movie, which I think this one came first. This one came before. This movie came before Three's Company. Three's Company was in the 70s. Yeah,
the 70s. Yeah.
Yeah. That being said, he follows Elaine around. It's kind of sneaky and kind of like stalkish, like, because he's going wherever she goes. She gets on a transit bus, and she sees him but turns her head, and he's running. He actually keeps up with the bus. I mean, but again, I think he ran track or something like that. Whatever sport, I think he was something similar. So they kind of show. This is what I love about the movie. They show you different aspects of the movie that that relates to what they were talking about, who the characters are, and they actually perform these things. And so he goes and he runs to the bus to the next stop, gets on the bus. kind of makes it seem like funny meeting you here type of situation. And in reality, he knows he's been. She asked him, "Why are you here?" And so he just said, "Just a coincidence, of course." But he actually wants to see her. He loves her. You can tell. They go to the zoo. She's going there to meet a guy she's been dating. This is Carl. Carl's a medical student, and he up until the point where she meets him, she walks with him, and he's telling her what's going on in his life, and she's saying what's going on with her. And of course, she meets Carl, and they go on about their business. She comes back. He's at his apartment and busts in, and she's up. She's writhing. She's totally upset with him. And why is she upset with him, ladies and gentlemen? It's because her mother lied and said that he raped her. Oop, shouldn't say that on he sexually assaulted her or whatever the case may be. But that's what it said in the movie, okay? And she lied, and he said she lied, and he told her the truth about what happened. Of course, they kind of make up, but he asks her to marry him right then, and she's not sure. She's not sure about this. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, there's no pause in between the movie. This is only a few days of dating. And so these are young 20 and 19, 18-year-old people here making unwise decisions. But he asked her to marry him, and she's not sure. And so, yeah. And so
he's in love with her. He falls in love with her. She's kind of loves him too. She just can't. I think she just can't get over the fact that he was sleeping with her mother.
Yes, and fools do rush in. But here's the situation. The father shows up, Mr. Robinson. He finds out, or he comes and tells him that, look, me and my wife are the divorce, and you're the cause. You're the reason we're getting a divorce. And mind you, there's all the other aforementioned things I mentioned about the early pregnancy, the reason we got married, sleeping in 7 rooms. That's not the problem. You're the problem. We're getting divorced. And he tells him that, and Ben says, look, I want to marry. I want to be with your daughter. And he doesn't want that at all. And he tells him that Carl's going to marry his daughter, and she's coming home. And he brings Elaine home. Ben follows them home. Again, here's a stalker situation. Ben follows him back home, and he sees Mrs. Robinson in the house, and they're getting ready for packing up for their wedding. Of course, she doesn't tell him. She threatens to call the police, and he leaves, goes back to school, all the way back to school. He's very smart, so he goes and finds Carl's colleagues and finds out where the wedding is in school. He finds out the wedding's in Santa Barbara, and he's driving 300 miles frantically to get there. And he has to stop and get directions to get and find out where the church is. And he finds all this out because he says he's the reverend, and he has to. And then the guy in the gas station points out. He said, "Good luck, Reverend." And he finally gets there. And this is where we're going to show you a video. And he gets there a little bit too late. Carl and Elaine are just kissing, and he's up there upstairs because he couldn't get in through the downstairs door. He's at the top where there's a glass, banging on the window, and yelling Elaine and getting the attention of everybody. And we're going to show you a video of what happens here at this moment.
Yeah, so he gets her attention, and she's kind of sitting there kind of confused, and this kind of adds to the situation, but all hell breaks out loose here. So here you go. And so
Oh
after
man, so
that,
you can see,
they on a bus. Yeah.
so you can see this is the end. This is the end, and everything that happened right there is them. Obviously, she's married, and but still, she's in love with Ben. And as you can see, she yelled his name back out, and the mother pimp slapped her twice, and it's nothing, no bells rung there. So she runs. They lock them in a church. They get on the transit bus, get on the bus, and they're happy. And all of a sudden, you can see the real emotions, the true emotions coming out. Is like they're happy, but they're not happy. They're happy, unhappy, and then next thing you know, the movie goes off. Ultimately, this is a great movie. I really like the movies. I think the direction of the movie went well. I think uh, the layers that are in this movie is a lot of comedic timing on it that just hits points. It's a lot of points that are hit in regards to youth. You know, we were looking at the youth movement. We're looking at the '60s. We're looking at a lot of beatnik, type of people, that like before hippies, the beatniks or whatnot, that were like these young. I wouldn't say yuppies because they were in California. These young rich people, that were in college. Yeah, sort of. But you had your protagonist, which was Ben. But he could sort of be considered an antagonist too, because although he was seduced, he still fell into the situation and did it multiple times with somebody else's wife. And but he was naive too as well. I mean, you can see it throughout the whole movie about a lot of things. I mean, and these people, young, getting together, getting married, and obviously people did this back then. People do it now, but not as much. You can see that it was just like, okay, as much as he knew some things, he was still young. They hadn't experienced life, and they were just trying to figure out. They were trying to figure out things out. And on the other hand, you can see the antagonist, Mrs. Robinson. She, I can call her the antagonist. She while she's married, she has a daughter. She's looking to seduce a young man, a young virile, handsome young man. You can kind of almost feel sorry for her because she's might be maybe a victim of circumstance. She gets married. She gets married because she's pregnant. These are the signs of the times. You do not. You have the scarlet A on your chest if you were the person to not be married when you're having a baby. And so she does that, and she does it with somebody she's not in love with. She's not in love with her child's father. Clearly, they 18, 19 years, they're in separate rooms. She's an alcoholic. She went to school. She confides into Ben Braddock, aka Mr. Gladstone, that she has she had interest in art, wanted to have a career in art, and that fell by the wayside because of her choices. And so I mean, while I'm mentioning that, you know, she could be the victim of circumstance. She still is somebody who's totally manipulative and played her role very well in this movie. But again, I thought it was great. I thought all the everything lined up. All the scenes were great. It came to this climactic moment at the end of the church, and it ended. It fell off. It fell off like a cliff. But the ending to me was great because just their expressions of their face. It was artistic. You can see they were happy and excited that they did what they did, but then they came to a realization of what they had done, and you could see like it went from happy to sad, both in their exchanges, and it was just ended like that. And I thought the music was great. Paul Simon and Simon and Garfunkel, they had great music for the movie, and I'm going to give it 5 buckets of popcorn here. And I don't give it extra butter, but it takes a great deal to get the extra butter. But I'm going to give it 5 buckets here. And they're singing Mrs. Robinson, the buckets of popcorn.
Or maybe they're singing "Hey Darkness, My New," that song.
Not dancing like that.
Darkness, yeah, no.
But what'd you think, man? What'd you think about the movie?
I think one part too, the part where she calls the cops on him was hilarious because she was this. Do you have a weapon on you? No, he doesn't have a weapon on him. I was like, you're just calmly saying somebody broke into your house and you're just asking them questions. Like, I'm not sure the cops are like, this chick's tripping, but they did show up because it's, a rich community.
Right.
Anyway, so, but he quietly left off and took off in the car, which I thought was hilarious. I'm trying to think, he what did you sidestep the cops? Because if the cops were at the front door, where was his car at? You I was kind of thinking these things. But anyway, it was, for the time that it was, I think it was a really good movie. I mean, it was a $3 million budget and it made $104.9 million. So, it's like I said at the beginning of this show, sex sells. And that's what that was. It was a time when we were just getting into the hippie revolution, and it was, free will and, yeah, man, I'm going to do this, man, and smoking and all kinds of stuff were going on. So, yeah, it was pretty good for the time that it came out. I'll also give it 5 boxes of popcorn, no butter, but it's going to stand out through time. People, you got to watch this. I know it's an older movie. Hell, I wasn't even born when this movie came out. Okay, but I still got to see it. So there's that.
And also, and let me mention that you just mentioned it was 104.9 million. I think that today that would be like 900 plus million. But at the time, it was the highest grossing movie of 1967. So yeah, that just says a lot about it too as well.
Yeah.
All right, moving right along to Rumor Has It. We're not going to call this a sequel because it's not a sequel. It's just that they made the movie to be like a great premise, meaning based off of the movie, and the idea is the people in this movie, and Rumor Has It, that they're exclaiming that the movie The Graduate is based off of their life story, and something that really happened with their family, but no one knows who the characters are in the book or nor the movie. And you can go ahead and give the superlatives about this movie, sir. It came out in 2005. Rumor Has It.
So Rumor Has It is directed by renowned director Rob Reiner, starring Jennifer Aniston as Sarah Huntinger, Kevin Costner as Bo Burrows, Shirley MacLaine as Catherine Richelieu, Mark Ruffalo as Jeff Daly. In this movie, Kathy Bates plays the role of Aunt Mitzi. Funny because she has a lot of lines in this movie, but she goes uncredited in this. So she was just probably helping somebody out, or she liked the premise of the movie or whatever the case may be. And she says, you know what? I'll do it for free. Just don't credit me, whatever. George Hamilton has a brief uncredited role as well. We were talking about that before show where she says, who is that guy over? This is like that guy over there with the George Hamilton tan. Who is that guy? And Bo George Hamilton. By the way, this is pretty good caveat too, because George Hamilton was one of the guys that was supposed to play the original Benjamin Braddock in the first one. He was one of the guys that was cast for that role. Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. Nice little nugget there, sir.
Yep.
Okay.
So music is by Mark Shaman. Production companies: Village Roadside Show Productions, Section 8 Productions, and Spring Creek Productions. Distributed by Warner Brothers. Released December 25th on Christmas 2025. Running time was 96 minutes. Budget was $70 million. I don't know how the hell they got $70 million out of this. It was not $70 million that they needed to spend on that. Even for 2005. Box office was 88, but they only got 88.9 million in the box office. And you know what? I think a lot of this has to do with how many production companies were in this. There was 3 production companies, and one of them doesn't even exist anymore, which is Spring Creek Productions. So it tells you a whole lot. Why are you paying 3? Why is there 3 production companies doing this movie, first of all? Why is there a $70 million budget? I mean, I know you got the actors in there and you got to pay the actors and the actresses, but dang, $70 million? Dude, you thought you should put some CGI in there or something. That's just ridiculous.
Well, let's go into, I think it's way too ridiculous to have 3 production companies like you said. But especially when we get into what I'm about to talk to you about this movie. It should have just had definitely one production company, and judging by especially when you mentioned what they made at the box office. All right, so Sarah, Jennifer Aniston's character, and her fiance Jeff, they're on their way to travel to from New York to Pasadena, California, to go to her sister's wedding. She goes there and mentions to her grandmother, who is Catherine, played by Shirley MacLaine, that she's not sure if she should be getting married. Okay, so she confides into her about that, and she's talking. They have drinks, and Catherine gets not a little tipsy, but she starts letting things slip that her mother, the week before her wedding, she went off to Cabo and got with somebody. And so this is news to her. And so Sarah has been feeling not inept, but I mean, she's a journalist that does the obituaries and weddings or whatnot. And she definitely, or obituary that does funerals and obituaries and what is it
in a New York in New York I think it's
supposed is it weddings too as well? Yeah,
no, it's just obituaries. She just does
obituaries, and she's not really happy about where her career is going, and also she thinks that she has nothing in common with her father, her sister, her grandmother. She thinks that she's just so different from everybody, and she finds that out about her mother, her late mother, mind you, Jocelyn, who's deceased, and she wants to get more information regarding that, and so she goes to her mother's best friend, who is her aunt Mitzi, and the aforementioned Kathy Bates. Kathy Bates, yes, she plays that character, and they go and to discuss things about it, and they talk about who the guy she actually went to sleep with was at Cabo was Bo Burrows, a guy that was not only Jocelyn's crush, but also Mitzi's crush as well, because he ended up sleeping with her as well later on after college. But they do some thinking, and she's thinking, one just like she's mentioning that, that he was friends with a guy that wrote the book, The Graduate.
Charles Webb.
Charles Webb, yes. And so not only that, he makes the movie The Graduate, and then they put two and two together that they think were the characters of their family, the people that they wrote the book about. And so this sends this lady into a whirlwind of different things. So obviously they go to the wedding, they go to the wedding, and
yep.
Yes, exactly.
That's going to be one of my comments. I'm going to make it near the, when we do our critique of it, but go ahead.
Yes. But they go on, Sarah goes on and confides in her grandmother, and she finds out her grandmother slept with Bo Burrows as well. And because she knows it's her. And she finds out about her mother. And then so she after the wedding, she's getting ready to go back home to New York, but she tells her fiance that she wants to go and find Bo and find out for sure if he's her father or not. So she goes, and he's at this conference in was it in San Francisco? I'm not sure. I think it was in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think it was San Francisco. Yep.
It was San Francisco.
Yeah.
She flies to San Francisco. He gives her the ticket to take back to New York from there. So she goes to San Francisco at the conference. Yep. And she's able to get in with her credentials as a journalist, and she confides in him and turns out that he did sleep with her mother. He finds that out, and her grandmother. He admits to both. But did he? I know we're about to go to a video. I don't want to get crazy here.
Well, they go to the restaurant, and this is when he tells her about the whole. Well, this is after he tells her about the testicular thing that she has, and she yells out in the restaurant.
So yes. Well, I mean, did they go to the restaurant first? Was this the part after the restaurant?
Yeah, that's when he told. Yeah, they told her. Okay, this is where he told her about that.
They go out to eat. Yes, and he tells her that he had a he can't be her father because he's sterile because he has a testicular soccer trauma. He got a kick to the nuts. That was pretty bad, ladies and gentlemen. Uh, and so he can't have kids. And so he he says he can't be a father, but they go out. And we're gonna watch the video and see what happens when they're standing out waiting on the cabs here.
Really said, "Let me stir the pot and act like it's tea." Yeah, I remember that line. All right, here it goes.
And I got them. Absolutely nothing in common with my family, and yet they are my family, which is great. This is good. My mom ran off to Cabo and had a fling a week before she was married, and then went back into a loveless marriage, it's her choice. It's fine. I just now got to deal with the fact that I am in a career that is going absolutely nowhere. And a guy who is terrific, and he wants to marry me, and I theoretically want to marry him. So yeah, it's good.
She said, "Life is good." That's what she's saying. She doesn't sound like life is good, but that's what she says.
But what we cut out, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen the movie, she starts crying. All right.
Yeah.
And so, because life is not good for her, at least. And this is like, wow, you're thinking like, man, why do you, never mind. We can talk about that at the end of the movie, but the synopsis. But lo and behold, he hugs her and he's confiding her. He pours on the charm, and they go dancing or whatever. They go sit to this bar dancing and stuff like that, and they drink a few beers, and she kisses him. She kisses him again. He's pouring the charm on. He's pouring the Bull Burrow charm on the third generation of the well, I wouldn't say Huttinger, but the ladies, whatever the maiden name was. I mean, he's pouring the charm on these ladies there, and she kisses him, and then they wake up in his bed in this place, and obviously she's guilt stricken, but not guilt stricken enough to where he invites her for breakfast. They go to his plane, and he drives her to his plane, and they go to plane to wherever the vines are, I guess, someplace in the valley.
Yeah, in the vineyards.
Yeah, in the vineyards, yeah. And then from there, he invites her to a ball, at Casablanca ball. And they go to the ball. She looks nice. They both look great, tuxedo, dressed to the nines. And he's there. They're one of his I wouldn't say cronies, one of his elite COOs or whatever for his company, is trying to get him to sign a deal. And they go off to sign a deal. She sits at a table for a long time, and she meets this guy. He comes over and flirts with her and wants to have sex with her. Turns out it's his son. And she finds out he has a son, and she's thinking, you can't have a son if you're sterile. So she thinks he lied to him and that she slept with her father. So it's just all kind of craziness going on. He walks up, Bo does, and finds out she knows about the son, and he's trying to keep it quiet because his son does not know that he's adopted, or he's his adopted son, because he's artificially inseminated. He's not his real father by a sperm donor. And so he tells her that, and blah, blah, blah. And he goes and kisses her again, but he kisses her. And what I did mention before is that through all this time, they slept together and they're going to breakfast. She has Jeff's phone, and it's ringing. It's ringing and ringing and ringing, and she never answers it. He thinks something's happened to her. He calls the company, tries to find out where she's at. He finally finds out where she is, and he shows up at the party while they're kissing. He's like, gee, I sure hope that's not your dad you're kissing. And it obviously is not, but she's in trouble. He's upset. He leaves for New York City. She leaves the ball without saying goodbye to Bo. She goes to her grandmother's. She's distraught. And not only is she distraught, they get a phone call from her sister, Annie. She has an anxiety attack on their honeymoon flight, comes home, clearly she's not ready to get married herself, or she's having doubts, and they're fussing, and the dad's fussing on the phone with Annie and the son-in-law there. Catherine and Sarah are fussing on the phone. It's just total chaos right now. And Sarah only wants to, I mean, excuse me, Annie only wants to speak to Sarah. She goes over there, tells her, confides in her everything that happens, and tell her that she loves her husband and it's good that she's marrying her best friend. And yes, Bo is very compelling. As a matter of fact, Bo is pretty much kind of the innocent one here, because Bo.
He's catching
Bo shows up to the house. Catherine sees him and says, "You son of a bitch," and looks in the mirror. She's like, "Damn!" She sees herself old. So she puts on her glasses to hide her wrinkles and her oldness, and walks out there and said, "What are you doing here? You're the one who causing all the trouble." And he has to break it down to her that no, your daughter came to me in Cabo all those years ago when I was at my house. Your granddaughter drove 500 miles or whatever it is, travel 500 miles to come see me and seek me out. And I definitely didn't seek you out, ma'am. You definitely sought me out. So look, we find out, the father comes out, they shake hands. He still has a little trauma and he finds out he's the one that kicked them in the nads when they were playing soccer. So that was you. And he's a little traumatized by it. And Catherine finds it very funny. And Sarah goes back home. She tries to make up with Jeff. I keep wanting to say Mark because his name is Mark Ruffalo. She tries to make up with Jeff. Jeff definitely kind of rebuffs her making up, and she leaves, goes in the elevator. He runs down the stairs, meets her down there, and he wants to make up with her. He said, "Just promise, if we have a daughter, let's keep her 1,000 miles or 1,000 feet away from both boroughs." And so they get married. They get married at the end. Catherine's dancing with the groom. She's hugging her grandson-in-law's cheeks. I mean, it's just all kind of craziness in this movie. But that's the end. All right, my take. I don't want to compare it to The Graduate because it's supposed to be something different, something better here. But it's just all over the place to me. And I just think that the characters in here, they're kind of similar. I like the character of Catherine. I think Shirley MacLaine played her role well. She kind of does this in all the movies that she plays in these sort of rom-coms. She plays the evil bitch, is like, and she does that character very well. And she has snide remarks on everything. She has a snide attitude towards any and everybody, but she has an underlying charm and she's lovable to some degree in that regard. But she is not the person to be played with, for sure. I mean, if you remember who she was when she was in Steel Magnolias, she was in some other movies. She played similar characters. Jennifer Aniston's character, Sarah, she's all over the place too. These characters, man, I just think that they do the damage themselves. The grandmother, the daughter, the late daughter, rest in peace, and the granddaughter. They are the one that does all the damage, and the men that actually love them are the ones that have to deal with it and take them on. Except Catherine. I don't know what man she was dealing with. If it's like anything in the movie, in The Graduate, they went their separate ways. But yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought it was an okay movie, man. I just thought it's just the sister. There wasn't really a build-up of her character and who she was. The father was kind of like, he kind of had a strong base to him, but it still was kind of weak. I didn't like it too much. I didn't like the way it was going. I didn't like the character of the lawyer, the fiance. I just thought, I don't know, maybe these guys, they portrayed as weak in the movie, man. And I wasn't too much of a fan of that. But again, it just wasn't as funny as I'd like to be. I mean, in comparison to, it's a shame that I'm trying to compare it to the other movie, but it wasn't that funny, man. So I give it 2. I give it 2 buckets of popcorn.
2 buckets of popcorn. All right. Are they dancing
And
because I don't know why they're dancing.
Yeah, they don't like it too much either. Yeah.
Well, the premise of the movie was, I mean, the plot was fine. How it was carried out wasn't the greatest, I don't think. I think the one that had the most steady character in it was Kevin Costner's character, Bo. He really didn't have anything. I mean, like he said, y'all came to me. You know, I didn't come to you. You came to me. So, you know, I said, dang, he's lucky he didn't know the other sister because he ran through the whole family. Thank God she got married, huh? But
Yes.
yeah, the thing with Jennifer Aniston and her whole, oh, I'm gonna be married to her, and you know, the whole thing when they were on a plane together and they looked like they were so much in love with each other, which I for Jeff, yeah, I can understand that. He actually portrayed his part, you know, he was the guy. What I didn't like is the fact that when he caught them kissing, and he was like, and she told him that, oh, he goes, did you sleep with them too? And she didn't say nothing, but that sometimes silence tells you all the truth you need to be told. And he was like, oh, I would have been like, girl, bye, see ya, peace. Wouldn't want to be ya. But no, he
gave her a shot, like leave with me and marry me now.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't move. He said, wrong answer.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it was just, I don't understand that whole premise right there. The thing about the father too, he didn't really materialize until like the end when she was sitting down talking to him about the whole. He knew about the whole thing when she went to Cabo with Bo, but when she came back, she told him that she couldn't see anything working out with Bo. She could see things working out with him, and that's the reason why they stayed together for as long as they
and
did.
that she loved him.
She loved him. That was the whole point there. And that's something that Jennifer Aniston's character didn't understand until that point when he told her, because, you know, like I showed in that clip, she was like, yeah, she's going back to somebody who doesn't have no affection for her, blah, blah, blah. And that wasn't the case. That had nothing to do with the case at all. Know your history, chick, before you go out there blabbing to everybody. And I think Bo knew that as well. And that's another thing I had a problem with. You know this, you should tell her, because he knew, because she told him the same thing. She told him the same thing. Her mother told him the same thing. She goes, yeah, we can't, you cool, but I can't see myself with you as a future. So I'm going to go back to you know, my husband, and then we'll go about it from that point. He could have just said something there it didn't, instead of her just breaking down and saying all that crap. As far as her being disappointed with her job, well, Missy, you can improve that. I don't want to hear you crying about some stuff that you can improve on. You can write stuff. If you're a journalist, you can write other stuff than obituaries. Try it out. You know, that helps you a little bit. You're in New York. And New York things happen sometimes. So, and if it doesn't, that means you weren't good to begin with. But then the thing I thought was funny too, she used her credentials to get into that.
Yes, her obituary journalist credentials is hilarious.
But anyway, she got into that, and Shirley MacLaine's character was right on point. I thought she was all over the place too, kind of, especially when they were talking when she was in the shower, and she was telling her, "Yeah, it's okay, those things happen," and she ripped up her, "No, you slept with Bob." She was highly upset about the whole situation. It's his fault. It's not his fault. It's a premise of how most women act nowadays. They blame everything on the man, even though they're the ones that have the undertaking. That's not really good. And I don't mean to offend any women by saying that, but that's just how women are set up nowadays. I don't know what that's about, but
Catherine was still vain. She was still vain. She's still that 40-some-year-old woman she thought she was back then, until she looked in the mirror and she said, "Damn," and she put the glasses back on because she saw that she was aging. And she was mad that, you know, the young man is taking a younger woman away from her, and she kind of alluded to that. And also you mentioned what was it you mentioned at the I can't remember, it was something, someone wanted to tell you about that, but man, look, would you give it, how many you give it?
I gave it 2 dancing popcorns. I mean, hell, you know.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah,
It was the plot was really good. I think whoever did the plot, whoever wrote the script, did a very good job. It was just that it was the actors made it go all over the place. And for $70 million, come on, you expect more from this. You know what I'm saying? That was what's the most disappointing is $70 million could have bought you a lot better, focus or whatever the case may be. You shouldn't even spend that damn much money, but whatever. It is what it is, but I gave it 2.
Okay. Well, we don't have enough time to get into our bio today. The bio we were going to do was Anne Bancroft. Rest in peace, Anne Bancroft. She's Mrs. Robinson from The Graduate. She's an Academy Award winner. I'm just going to say that. And she's won a numerous amount of awards. We could have talked about any of the other actresses that are well known, but I figured a lot of people didn't really know who she was. And I was going to give her a shout out, but I'm just going to give her a short shout out today because we don't have a lot of time right now. But she again won a Golden Globe. She won an award for The Graduate as well. But she won a ton of like foreign Academy Awards, British Academy Awards for numerous. She won 2 Tonys as well. She died in 2005 of uterine cancer, I believe. But she was married to Mel Brooks. For all you don't know that, she was also married to Mel Brooks, whom is still alive at 99. But again, rest in peace, Anne Bancroft. And we are getting ready to shut down in just a moment, but we are going to give the 2 movies. One of the actors that was in the movie today is going to be in one of the movies that we talk about, and that's Kevin Costner next week. And because it is draft week next week, and we're celebrating. Well, we're not celebrating, but we're paying homage to the what is it? The marijuana.
420.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, 420. 420 day.
420 day, marijuana day. So 2 movies we're going to celebrate and talk about. That's Draft Day. For those of you out there that don't know, Draft Day and Nice Dreams with Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong, Nice Dreams is an older movie. It's 1980, I believe. And Draft Day came out in the 2010s. Specifically the year?
I think it was like 2015 or something like that.
Yes, and we're going to do Draft Day.
Yeah.
And that's our show. If you have any, again, this is real quick. If you have any questions or movies you want to drop in, please drop in our email, bwflix2026@gmail.com, and give us critique as well. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends on YouTube. That's all we have for you today. We'll see you next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. BW Flix. I'm James. See you later.
Peace.